Alrighty, morning everyone, and welcome back to another beautiful video on this beautiful channel on another beautiful day. In today's video I want to talk with you about gold. Well, isn't that something new? Yeah, usually we only talk about silver because, there's just a lot to talk about with silver. But in today's video I wanted to talk about gold because many of you requested that we talked about gold. So let's go ahead and do that. And today's video is going to be about whether or not you should only buy gold. If you remember, I did a video about that in regards to silver a few weeks, probably months by now, back, and many people liked that video. And I actually like making these videos because these are interesting thought processes that go into stuff like this and into your decision, basically, whether or not you want to only stick with one metal just in the beginning or over your complete stacking journey or whatever, all kinds of stuff like that. We're going to talk about that today. I think that's going to be very interesting. And yeah, we're going to get started. But first of all, we're going to talk about the stuff that I brought for you today. So first of all, I brought a 500-gram coin silver bar. Really beautiful bars. Unfortunately, they will probably die out because bars like these coin bars that are only minted for the European market, they are more expensive to produce than your normal silver bars, and the demand for them is going down drastically because many countries are getting rid of this tax benefit that you could have with coin bars. This is not a change of the law or anything like that. This is just a gray zone that is not a gray zone anymore, pretty much. So there's that. Really beautiful bars, but probably something of the past. Next thing, definitely not something of the past, that's a 50-gram ESG gold recycling bar, completely made out of 100% of recycled computer scraps. Really cool concept in my opinion, and really cool bars. They are not very expensive because, of course, recycling computer scrap is a very lucrative business, and so they can actually be offered for a competitive price. Very cool. I would love to get into stuff like that at some point, but I just don't have enough money for that at the moment, and also not enough clue. So yeah, we'll see about that, but I could really see myself scrapping stuff like that in a complete recycling manner because, I came from scrapping. This channel was built on scrapping and stuff like that, and so would be interesting, I think. So next one is a 1-ounce silver Samoan seahorse from the year of 2021. Scottsdale mint coin, really beautiful in my opinion. The capsule is great, no rattling, no nothing, so I can really just recommend this one. And it's also not very expensive, so that's also quite cool. And last thing is a 1/10 of an ounce Canadian maple leaf from the year of 2019. Really beautiful little coins. I've got a few of those. I bought them back in the days because I thought it was a good idea. Nowadays, I don't really think so because I paid a lot of markup on those that I didn't really have to pay. But whatever. It is what it is. I really like them, and I think they're really cool. Gotta get some more life-size, quote-unquote, maple leaves in gold in the future, but, they're expensive, so we'll see. Alrighty. Let's talk about gold, only buying gold. There are actually some significant reasons why you should stick to only one metal in the beginning. I kind of talked about that with a silver video I did back in the days. And the main one is knowledge, pretty much. You need knowledge, otherwise you can't make educated financial decisions. Especially not when when you want to invest something. If you don't know a lot of stuff about the thing that you want to invest in, it's probably not going to go very well. But that's not too bad because that's how we kind of all started, and I definitely started like that. I bought just all kinds of stuff that looked pretty in my opinion, and I do that nowadays too. Yeah, you got me. But nowadays it's a little bit different because nowadays I actually look at the stuff that I think will go up in value, and then I determine whether or not I like that. Works much better that way. But I will admit, I bought a lot of coins back in these days when I started that are now worth like 6-7 times the amount that I paid for them. So I made out all right. But gold. Now, the problem, of course, with only sticking to one metal is that you are lacking diversification. What are you getting with gold? Pretty much just a security. Yes, you have the potential that it might increase in value. We've seen that over the last couple of years. Sure, that is certainly the case. But in general, gold is a security. It is made to protect your wealth and your financial position and situation from occasional financial trouble or maybe personal financial problems that you might run into. For example, you get into a car accident, you don't have insurance and stuff like that, and you don't have to pay for something that you don't really have the money for. You could then just instantly sell your gold and be all good, right? That's basically the point of a financial security, something that is stable, something that will always have value, and something that you can, if you needed to, sell to then pay for stuff that you really desperately need and you couldn't pay for in any other way. So that's what you're definitely getting with gold. But there are a few downsides to that. Of course, you don't really have an option to branch out into other interesting metals, for example, silver, but also like platinum and palladium and stuff like that. Other metals, right? You only have gold. Now, that is pretty much the only downside because there are a lot of upsides to starting with only one metal. For example, you want to get into precious metals. You start looking at all kinds of different precious metals, and because you really want to get into them, you just start buying things. Now, you might not know that it's possible to buy other platinum group metals and stuff like that directly from the refineries, and you buy them from like a dealer or whatever, and you pay like 150% markup, and then you buy some sort of silver coin, maybe silver American Eagles, right? And you don't know that you can get them a little bit cheaper, so you're paying 110% markup, things like that, right? You just don't know everything about every metal, so you just try your best, but it's not really going that well. On the other hand, you could stick to one metal, let it be silver or gold, but whatever, we're going to talk about gold today. You want to buy gold. You decide, I want to go ahead and buy gold. Now you take a week and you just educate yourself on gold. Now you know, okay, gold is not very expensive. This is the amount of markup that I should probably, I mean, it is expensive for a metal, but it doesn't have an expensive markup. You know what I mean? It is expensive as a metal, but it doesn't have a massive markup. This is the markup I should reasonably be paying, maybe like 5% or whatever. Or if you want to pay some maybe semi-numismatic coins and stuff like that, maybe like 10 or 15% and stuff like that, right? But you know what you should be paying for that. And so you buy it. And now you say, okay, now I know this and this and this and that. Now I also know how to buy it. Now I know how that works. I maybe tried buying it online and in person. I know these things about gold now. So now I have a basis point of knowing what I can spend on this gold, knowing how I can maybe store this gold. It's very easy with gold. You don't really need to do anything because it doesn't react with anything. But now I know things about gold. I know how to deal with that, and I know if I see a good deal, I can determine that is a good deal, and I can go ahead and buy that. And now I can maybe branch out into other metals. But if you're starting just with buying everything over the moon, like, of course, you're going to get experience over time. That's what happened with me, right? I bought all kinds of stuff, and you do get experience over time. I've been doing that for over a decade. But in my opinion, it's much more slowly to try to learn about everything all at once than if you would have just tried to learn about one metal the right way, really get educated on that, really know what you're doing with that, and then say, okay, I know enough about gold to be able to invest successfully into that or to stack that. I don't really like the term investing in connection with gold and silver, you know that. But I know enough about gold to stack that successfully in the future. And now I can say, okay, maybe now I take a look into silver and see how the market is over there. You're probably not going to like the market of silver if you're used to the market of gold, because the market of gold is a very, very low markup market, and the market of silver is a very, very high markup market. But again, you're coming from the point of view of gold, you understand gold. You know what you're doing with that. And there are a lot of points that you already learned about gold that you can apply to silver or any other metal for that matter. It doesn't really matter, right? You know what you have to look at because you already looked at all of this stuff in gold, and you know, okay, these things that I looked at were useful because I was able to use that to make my stacking more successful or whatever, or to save myself some money or whatever, right? And maybe you also looked at some other things that you said, okay, I couldn't apply these, I don't need to look at those anymore. And then you know exactly what to look for if you're taking a look at another metal. In my opinion, there is reason to that. In my opinion, it is reasonable to maybe only start with gold, or maybe even just invest into gold. If you really just want a financial security, honestly, gold is probably your best bet. Now, that doesn't mean that gold can't go down in price in the future. It certainly can. It's just not very likely, in my opinion. But we'll see about that. And all these other metals, in my opinion, don't make for such a good security as gold. Silver, yeah, sure, somewhat, but you know, the markup is a risk. because the markup is something that doesn't have anything to do with the metal, and that can disappear from one day to another. And you have to remember that. I will make a specific video about that in the future, but that is definitely something that I believe to be true. The markup is something temporary. Now, it can stay for a long temporary time, but it's definitely not something that's connected to silver, and it can't just go ahead and disappear. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Now, should you maybe only invest in or only stack gold like forever? I don't think so. I don't think that's very reasonable, but there are some good points to that as well. As I said, if you only want a security, gold is probably your best bet, so there's no real reason to change that, right? And if you maybe also don't have a lot of space, gold might also be your best bet, because silver will take up a good amount of space if you're getting into larger sums of money, and also it will also take up a lot of weight. I don't know if you can actually take up weight, but it will weigh a lot, right? Silver will weigh a lot for the same amount of money in comparison to gold, right? Because for like $50,000, you're getting like a kilo of gold, a little bit less than that, but for the same $50,000, you're getting like, goodness gracious, like what, like 40 kilos of silver? Like a lot. Probably 50 kilos of silver even. Yeah, 50 kilos of silver. What am I talking about? 40 kilos. 50 kilos. 50 kilos, 1 kilo. Yeah, honestly, I knew what I would like to carry around more. 50 kilos of silver, 1 kilo gold. I would probably take the kilo of gold. Kilo of gold also takes up less space, is about the size of an iPhone. So one of the smaller ones, not these massive ones that I produce now. But you get the point, right? There are quite a few upsides to only stacking gold. However, I don't think that if you like to stack gold, you won't like to stack other metals. So you should probably take a look at those as well. But besides that, there are some reasons why you should only stack gold. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you've got any more questions whatsoever, be sure to write them in the comments below. I'd be very happy to answer them, as always. If you want to, you can also rate the video with like a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever you might want to do. And you can also subscribe to the channel, because that's a cool thing and it makes me happy. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do that too. That would be awesome. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, and until next time.